Sweating a little bit here. So I was playing catch with my nephew. He's going home over there, and I got home like maybe an hour and a half ago, and I noticed that first, second, third, and fourth gear on the CRX, it's notchy like how it's supposed to feel like when you're driving the car, but fifth gear slides in like butter. Probably the reason why it pops out of gear from time to time. Now, when I took the transmission to my buddy Knock at Synergy Auto Works, he did warn me that fifth gear is going to have issues later down the road, but I told him I'm not worried about it because I don't race in the fifth gear anyways, so that's fine. But damn, it's giving me an issue driving on the freeway. It doesn't pop out all the time. It's if I shift fast without thinking, it'll pop out of gear. But if I throw it in gear like I know and make sure it's in gear, it drives perfectly fine. Honestly, not really a big issue, but something to address later in the future. I talked to Alex when I was walking around Harbor Freight, and you know, just kind of talking to him about the welding machine, because Alex was the one that welded my rear T-bracket, and he told me like, dude, you can use the welding machine whenever, just hit him up, so on and so forth, he'll bring it by. But I also told him that, you know, he welds as his job and he takes his welding machine everywhere that he goes, but I don't want him to keep carrying it from his house, you know, to my house every time I need it. And when I need it on demand, like today, right now, he may be busy. So I was talking to him in Harbor Freight about purchasing it, and I said, you know, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I picked up the MIG-Max 215. A lot of great reviews. I got a tank as well right there. So today, tomorrow, this weekend, it's Friday right now, my goal is to finish both trailing arms, plate it, fully weld it, all of that good jazz, ready to rock and roll.
Just to know what you knew. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the night. Let the darkness take control. Let the darkness take control. Darkness take control. May the darkness take control. Take me in the smoke, breathe me in and let me go. Sink to your heart to find you. Open up your eyes till you're blinded by the lies, so you can see what you do. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost.
All right, y'all, so I'm gonna give you guys a quick little update here. The GoPro died on the time lapse, and it was charging for like an hour, and we're getting near, you know, our 10 o'clock noise cancellation period. I just want to say quickly as well, I want to give a huge shout out to my buddy Alex for sliding through, and we were just hanging out, and then you had a side job that you were supposed to do, and it was actually moved over another day, tomorrow, and he decided to give me a hand because too much talking, I need more action, and this is what we came up so far. I played it this earlier, and he pretty much fitted it, right? And then I tacked them all in, and then Alex made some little like block off plates to cover up the gaps, and then he welded all of that in. And right now we have it off the jig because we're going to be plating the bottom side as well to give that some extra strength and rigidity back, as well as allowing me to have this piece so I could get this side fixed up as well. But I'm not going to get too far with this one today because I don't want to grind into the night, because that's going to require a lot of cutting the camber arms and all of that. But again, the goal today is to finish that guy, and tomorrow we'll try to knock this out. The freaking MIG Max 215 Vulcan welder from fucking Harbor Freight, it's freaking amazing. Like, I love this thing. I've only had it for like a couple hours and it's freaking killer. I bought the tank after I left Harbor Freight, and this right here is perfect. It actually holds for a long time, and you know, he wasn't lying. He was like, you're gonna fucking love it.
Highly recommended.
And he does welding as a side job. That's his main machine. So after he welded my T-bracket, I was like, dude, I'm convinced. After watching a lot of reviews and stuff beforehand, before him coming here with that machine, I was pretty convinced. And then when he made my T-bracket, I was like, we're pulling triggers, man.
Sold.
So I went and bought one, and I must tell you, I'm actually loving it. I don't know what it is about MIG and its gas noises. I actually enjoy the way it sounds. I don't know, it sounds corny, but yeah, anyways, so he's fixing the other plate for the bottom side, right? And then once we get that fixed into place, and I use the grinder to cut out that arm, we're gonna put that sucker back up and fully weld everything, get this one done and out of the way. Talk about some crazy ass wind and a ton of rain this morning. Had to sweep up the driveway because, you know, I had too much leaf and I can slip on one of those and tumble down the driveway or something. I don't know. So I had to take my brother's G35 to the shop this morning because his car is doing some funky stuff. Some days it'll drive okay, some days it'll overheat to the freaking max, but I'm hoping that it's not a blown head gasket, maybe just a water pump. I did the thermostat, I did all that shit. I don't know what's wrong with his car. So dropped it off at the shop and I rode the Bird scooter like 3 miles home, and we are back here now. Again, I want to give a huge shout out to my buddy Alex for coming through yesterday and giving me a hand with just knocking these arms out, and we did. We finished one side of it before we went to go grab something to eat, close the garage for the night, and today's goal is pretty much to do the other side. So let me show you guys what we did yesterday. Obviously, if you guys seen the time lapse, I was working on one side and I had Alex button up the other one after, you know, explaining to him what exactly I wanted to do, and knocked it out of the ballpark. So we plated the front, the middle where the giant gap was at, and we plated the bottom. Now it never hurts to have extra strength. It may seem overkill, and given that I had a giant gap and a second piece welded to this guy that slips underneath right here on the wagon arms, you can see it right there, I wanted this extra strength to make sure this sucker ain't gonna snap on me. So we welded 316 plate top, middle, bottom. We used the middle one to have a backing plate so we can fill in that gap right here. Alex knocked that out, got all of this welded. I don't know if you can see it. Got the top, this seam, this bottom, top, all this is fully welded, really strong. I had Alex also make some small little plates to fill in this giant gap. You can see the one right in the middle as well too, right there. And he welded pretty much the outside, the inside, and I hacked this one up and getting it ready for today. to slip this sucker under, make this piece, align this straight, make my plates, and get this one done today as well. Now I read the comments. I read the comments every single day. I read them as I go, and I just want to quickly say I would appreciate it if you guys like watch the video, not on mute, pay attention, and pretty much just listen to everything that I'm saying carefully. A lot of the questions that get in the comment sections were explained in the video. If I don't reply back to some of the comments, it's probably because of the obvious, but I do read some of the comments as I go, and I take into account, so you know, it helps me figure things out as I am doing this, because this is the first time I am doing this. I had a bright idea on how I was going to go about doing it, but it's different when you actually go and do it. So obviously I made that mistake, and I'm using this mistake to, you know, ensure that I'm not going to do the same thing on this end. Now there are almost no videos out there on YouTube that really explains to you how to make these trailing arms, and this is going to be the second video to it. I kind of explained it already on the first video. Today is just going to be a straight lapse for you guys because I want to put in more work than talk. So with that being said, let's get down to work. I had to stop real quick and show you guys my original intentions with that trailing arm. Now, I did make my line, and then I cut in front of it, and it somehow became short in the back. So if you can see it right there, I welded that piece back on that I cut off, and then it slips under the wagon arm. So this is exactly what I did right here, or what I was trying to do for that side, but now I'm doing it for the passenger side, trimming it until it fits how I want it before I weld it. So let me show you guys really quickly here. Watch that center piece right here mate with the wagon one. So this giant 1 inch of flap is what's going underneath inside the wagon arms, right? And then, you know, that's pretty much the bridge. I'm pretty much just gonna tack it in right now, get it fixed into place so I can get this sucker, you know, cut out as well. And then pretty much just when I'm ready to weld, I'm gonna weld the whole thing at once. And also take note that obviously the wagon arm is much wider, and this one is more narrow. Alright guys, so we are done with the trailing arms. I finished those maybe like 30 minutes ago, and I just cleaned up all of my stuff because I got to go pick up the G35. So that pretty much sums it up for this video. Custom all-wheel drive trailing arms for your Honda, and I'm pretty sure it's the same concept. The jig worked out great. Everything lines up exactly how it should, so I think the only thing that's left really to do to the trailing arm is to press out those Prothane bushings, if not buy new ones, and then change out the bushing. And before I do that, I'm gonna paint the trailing arm, get it nice and clean, because there's just a bunch of open exposed metal that possibly can rust. And another thing as well too, the rears have new rear wheel cylinder and brake pads and drums. So I originally was going to go disc, and I still plan to. I may just keep all of this because the trailing arms I had for that car in the backyard didn't come with the drum, didn't come with a few little miscellaneous items, and it's like super old and rusted. So I'm gonna take all of this off, salvage this for the other trailing arm, and I'm probably gonna figure out how to do disc brakes tomorrow, if not next week. So definitely look forward to that. But I'm stoked. I hope you guys are too. Trailing arms are done. It's only a matter of time before this goes into the car and we can start working up all the rear diff mount and everything pertaining to the rear of the car, fuel cell and all. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video of both trailing arms being completed, and hit the like button if you guys did. I gotta get going. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.